everybody, to As the Pages Turn podcast.
Welcome.
And today we have a special guest that you have heard us mention maybe
Many
once,
times.
maybe several times, maybe 80 times. Let's not tell him how many times we talked about him. But our lovely friend Sylas Seabrook, who has written tons of books. I don't even want to get into how many books because he writes so many books that it's just all so good and I just can't handle. Anyways, welcome, Sylas.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Good. Are you really, though? Be honest, nobody's watching yet.
Perhaps in ways you may not anticipate, but yes.
Uh-oh. Okay, I didn't. First of all, let's just start this out with allegedly, and I didn't do it. I feel like...
Yes, allegedly is our favorite word on this program.
Oh, you'll learn, Sylas. We have allegedly. That is to keep us from legal proceedings, mostly, kind of, sort of. We hope. That's what everybody else does.
Yeah.
So. All right, so today we are we're interviewing Sylas about books because he's also an editor. So he has edited a lot of our friends' books. He has edited us. We may have had several discussions on certain topics that will come up. It will come up in the podcast.
Yeah, you've been itching to talk about this.
Look, I'm going to try not to let it be an hour conversation on just one question, but it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody knows we talk a lot. So, all right, so let's start out. And funny part of this is that I've literally been talking about the homework we're going to give him, and I have it ready. It's in bold, large font.
Mia, you know how you're always telling me not to skip ahead?
What?
Right now, you're skipping ahead. Mia, on task. You're always telling me on task. You can't skip ahead. Now I'm telling you, don't skip ahead.
Marriage is only the beginning. Wedded bliss available now.
Look, you know what? You're right, but I don't care. So anyways. All right, Sylas. So first of all, let's just start out with how long have you been writing?
I think since 2022.
Wonderful. Okay. Really? You've done all those books since 2022?
Yeah.
Casey.
I kind of write fast.
Wow. Well, you put me to shame. I started writing back in 2017, and it took me till 2019 to publish my first book. And I only got one. You got like 1 million.
I'm just saying, you have at least what? You're working on, this is a 10-book series, of which you have 8 out.
7.
Okay, it's 7. I thought it was 8.
The 8th one comes out in 2 weeks.
Okay, well.
Okay, people, you got to look forward to that.
And so tell us, like, just to like finish up this question, like how long you've been writing, but like what is the genres you're focusing on right now? And then we'll get to other stuff as we keep going.
The genre that I'm currently focusing on is erotic, believe it or not.
Really? I thought it was more science fiction, so that's interesting.
No, the Trip series is YA, so it's not erotic. But no, my next book that I'm going to put out there is one that's going to have this caution label written in it.
Uh-oh.
It's going to be for adults.
For men, ladies enter at your own risk, if words included.
Dirty. Okay, so we're going to put caution tape on the next. So the current series, which is The Rise of Trebinius Cantus, and I'm probably not saying that right. I tried. Okay, I'm going to make sure I say this right. The Rise of Trebinius Cantus, right?
Yes, The Rise of Trebinius Cantus.
See, that Trebinius name was throwing me off because it's so cool, because I do like my cool names. But
it is pretty cool.
Trib. Just call him Trib.
Trib, there we go. So, how did you get the idea for The Rise of Trebinius Cantus?
Through reverse engineering. I started off with a concept about some medallions. Essentially. Okay. And they were based off of magic systems. I gathered all the magic systems together that I could.
Yeah.
And each medallion represented a different aspect of magic. And from that, I then reverse engineered that somebody would need to gather these medallions in order to achieve a certain task.
Okay.
And that seemed to be an up-and-coming young man who ended up being Trib.
Wonderful.
Okay, I like where you're going with that. Okay. All right, tell us 2 scenes from your book that you think resonate with readers, and why do you think so?
And it can be any of the books, because you also have the standalone Live, right? That's a part of the YA series, and then you have another book coming out for authors, and we'll talk about that in a few. But you can pick any of the books to talk about.
Yeah, anyone.
Because you're entering my world for the first time with the Ementhian, there's a chapter in there called Bite Me, where Trib, my main character, is suffering heavy bout of depression, and he goes to do something dangerous and gets stopped. But I take you into the mind of a bipolar person to experience depression as we experience it, and that impacts a lot of people. They feel that chapter, and they feel for Trib. A second one, I don't know if it impacts everybody else, but it does me. My main character was able to create life in my first series, and as such, he was a master of life. He could do anything that he wanted. But what was said about him after something happened and somebody was able to see all of his memories was Noel was not a master of life. He was a lover of life. And I find that to be the most touching thing, because we can master so many things, but can we love them?
And
that is interesting.
Yeah. That's a really good like thought to put out there of like, I think because so many people spend so much time trying to like, reach the goals at work or reach the goals they set for themselves in life. And it's like, it's kind of to the point of, are you enjoying what you're doing? Like, are you really living life and enjoying it? Or are you just kind of going through the motions to try to get to that next stepping stone, get to the next one? So I like that. I like the last one especially.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, next question. How does it feel to get to the end of such a massive 10-book series? And what do you think is the hardest part in editing a series?
Oh, ending.
Editing.
Ending.
No, she's right. Ending. My brain flipped words.
Okay, I know, because we have editing questions too.
So the Rise of Tribinius Cantus is a special type of series. It's 2 series per se as one. There's where we followed Tribinius Cantus on his journey to get to the end, and then there's one where we follow a character named Jar of Rays in his journey to get to the end. Both of them get to the same end, but they take very different paths to get there. So the challenge in writing the conclusion of this series is making it so that it will work with the other book that I'm writing, so that we have something that's cohesive in putting it together. The other aspect of it that is challenging is, for all of you who absolutely love Robert Jordan, cover your ears. Robert Jordan wrote the Wheel of Time series, which in the conclusion of that series, I found it to be a major letdown. That was it. All these magical things coming together and fighting in the cataclysmic event, and that was it. I wanted people to walk away from the Rise of Tribinius Cantus without that feeling, with the feeling of this was worth it.
I agree with your sentiment. Also, didn't Robert Jordan not write his last 2 books because he passed away?
His last 3 books because he passed away. They were written by Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah,
based off of Robert Jordan's copious notes.
Yeah, but I still agree with you. A lot of times, when you get to the end, you need a satisfactory end, not something that's like, wait, what happened?
Right. Like Game of Thrones. Yes, I'm tossing you the Game of Thrones. I don't care. But that last, because to be fair, George R. R. Martin hasn't finished the last book to the series, but like the writer's interpretation of it, he doesn't, has he said that? Oh my God. This man is going to have so many rabid readers.
He said that. He thinks he'll get the Winds of Winter, but not the extra spring thing his book company pushed for.
It's just, but it is very much like, if you're going to go to do such a massive work of art, like for you doing this huge series that has, we know so many people who love these books, and like I've heard them give you so much crap on every single TikTok live because of different points. And so it's like, just to, reach, I mean, that is feat into itself just to finish. So, congratulations on getting to that, because you're almost done, correct? Like you're almost to the last book, or you've completed it.
I have 2 rounds of edits on the last book, but it is completed.
Nice.
Okay, yeah, you're getting there.
Yeah. So like you've done all this work, and because I don't think people understand like the time schedule, and I know it because we've talked about it on and off. So tell everybody how long it took you to do these 10 books, because I want people to be in awe of how fast of a typer you are.
Yeah.
And why I'm going to try to steal your hands down the road to finish my book. Please go.
So the series has 12 books in it, even though it's a 10-book series. There are 2 side novellas. The first side novella was published February 2.5 years ago or so, 3 years ago. I think it's 2.5 years, 2 years. We're February now, it can't be half. So it will be one book every 3 months for like 3 years straight, give or take a couple of weeks. And I've stayed on that release schedule since On was first released. It was the first one to be released in the series.
I just like, so first of all, everybody, when you hear that I've committed a theft of hands, now you understand why I did it.
Yeah, and
second-
people, when she does said theft, remember, I am not involved. She did this on her own.
And it was all Crystal's idea, just so we're very
See,
clear on the record.
Silas, you're a witness to her trying to pin a crime on me.
I don't know what you're talking about. So anyways, but I think it's like, I love I just love it that you had this very clear focus. Because it was funny, we were having a discussion today with another friend. I won't rat out his name because we've been giving him some grief for not finishing books. But it's just like to have that focus, to have that idea from start to finish. And like, you kept that focus, you kept going, you got through the series. And like, but how does it feel to finally get to that ending?
Oh, that was the other aspect of your question that I forgot.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I have a cast of characters that sometimes brings 12 people into one room at a time. It wasn't a matter of getting to know one person. It was getting to know an entire cast.
Yeah.
As they went on a journey where there were some heavy losses, some very emotional times, and they end on a very high note that doesn't last for too long, but it sustains it.
Gotcha.
And so when I was done writing the last part, it was a little sad to say goodbye.
Oh.
But now I get to go into the marketing phase where I talk about them all the time, so they're going to stay alive.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. Sorry. Finish.
But I don't get to write any more words about them except for what happens in Jar of Rays. Their story has come to its natural end, and I keep looking to the side. I'm looking at books.
That's okay. They're your babies.
So their story has come to its natural end, and I think that I did a good job of it. So far, the alpha readers who read it say that it was a good delivery on the final conclusion. So that makes it feel good, you know?
Good. Well, and I mean, like I said, we've been in a lot of lives where like you've had very dedicated readers who have been reading these books and absolutely love them. So like, I don't think it's a lot to like you've accomplished not just being able to get to that ending of the series, but having these books that have just, they've kidnapped the readers in there solidly. They have not been able to leave. And this is what brings me to the next question. I literally skipped ahead 6 questions because I was already going to ask this question. So why is Petey the best character? And also for anybody who doesn't know, explain who our lovely Petey is, because I will let everybody know I am Team Petey. And so I haven't had a chance because I have the books. I haven't read them yet. And that, I need to get to it. And I need to get
also, Mia, before Silas answers, is that why you deleted said question so I couldn't see it?
Exactly, because I stole it. So anyways, so because Petey is my favorite character because there's been so much discussion. I'm not saying he's taken over every live about your books, but I'm just saying he comes up enough that I am very Team Petey. So please explain to everybody who Petey is and why is he the best.
So the main character, Tribinius Cantus, has a mechanical pet bird that's a budgie, a parakeet. It gains the ability to transform into a bearded vulture that can kick your ass. But Petey is always there. He's always being playful. He's always doing something endearing, and he's the innocent one. But he's the innocent one that's also super strong because he can kick your ass. So Petey is natural to love because he is the safe, innocent one that does nothing but good things. In fact, he saves the main character's life in the opening book. But he's also got this strength and power to him that's like, don't mess with Petey. And so he becomes lovable because of his strengths. Largely, he's not a character that's well-rounded. He doesn't really have any flaws except that he's got a bird brain. But that's made to be look as if though it's cute.
I mean, it sounds adorable. And also, okay, hold on. Do you want me to ask the question about the unaliving that we've talked about with him, or should we just, that's too spoilery?
I've got
a question.
Okay, because I was going to tell people, because I thought it was really interesting, like, what you did with him, and especially because so many of us were like, if you hurt Petey, we will come after you, and we know where you live. Anyways, besides that, small details don't matter.
Yeah, and people bring that up all the time. So even
Right.
I know, and I haven't had a chance to get my hands on the book yet.
So I'm just saying, because I think it's great how you did it, and so I wanted you to mention this. Also, everybody who is listening and or watching this, you guys need to go look up a bearded vulture, because it actually came up in a live one time. Because I've actually seen them before, because I used to be a huge I love birds, so I know what one looks like. like. Like, I already knew. Well, like, a bunch of your readers did not know what one looked like. And then we were talking about it in a live, and they went to look it up, and they were like, oh my God, that's Petey. And it was so great. Like, that reveal after they'd already read, I think at this point, they've all read like 4 to 5 books. And it was like this huge thing of, oh, well, yeah, Petey is this huge vulture bird. So yeah, definitely talk about that scene because I think it's great.
Okay, give me just a second.
Oh, of course.
So Christina Cole is an artist on here who actually did a painting of Petey in his bearded vulture form.
Yeah, Silas, you're gonna have to email me that painting because I'm gonna have to rip what's on screen and separate it because me and I are off camera. So I'll just send me that picture so I can put it in this spot.
Oh, it's
and
so
that
cute,
one.
though. I think Petey's cute. Cute as
I think
what?
those are very nice.
Yes.
She did a
But I thought it
fantastic
was
job
great
of
that
them.
nobody knew. Like,
Yeah. So the question is, Petey became the untouchable character, which as an author means what? Well, that character has to go. So in the opening scene of one of the books, Liv, the female main character, is kidnapped, and Petey flies up to try to prevent her kidnapping. And in the process, somebody hits him with a major fireball that takes him out of the game.
aw.
Oh,
That's for Petey.
And you're just left with Petey falling to a roof caught on flames. Now, the one thing I tell people about these books, because you get through some pretty serious shit, is remember that it's a happily ever after. Keep reading. And
Definitely.
that's all I'm going to tell you about Petey is it's a happily ever after. Keep reading. So read and find out as to what happens to him after he goes down in a ball of fire.
Exactly. And also, just be aware, though, that Silas has been threatened many times by a lot of people, including me, that if anything permanently happens to Petey, consequences will happen. So anyways, just know, Petey will be okay, you guys. Human characters, whatever. Stuff happens. We don't even know. Don't care. Petey will live. So, and then just to switch gears a little bit, let's go into just a kind of a fun question of name 3 of your favorite books.
3 of my favorite what?
3 of your favorite books, and it can be any genre, any type, any of them.
Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. Whichever the first book, I think it was Rise of the Foundation in Isaac Asimov's The Foundation series. And for anyone who knows me, you know what the third book has to be. Chicago Manual style.
Oh my God.
hell yeah. You have told me the much importance of Chicago Manual for as long as I have known you. So
Yeah.
about 2 years now. Well, almost 2 years.
Which actually is a perfect segue to ask
I got that
the
baby
next
up here too.
question, right? To ask the next question, Crystal, you're up. Tag.
Are we on number 5 or number 6?
6.
Okay, Silas, what got you into editing and helping others?
So I was always trained to do something right or don't do it at all. And that meant that before I started writing, I spent a year and a half studying writing. And I found out that the style guide was Chicago Manual style. So I studied it and learned what I needed to learn. And as I was working with other authors coming onto TikTok, I realized I was kind of rare in doing that. Most people will focus on their writing craft and not their punctuation of the craft.
What's this grammar nonsense? I don't understand.
Yeah, the whole grammar thing is more of a you problem. I focus on the writing part first. But I will say, okay, Mr. Overachiever, looking how you're supposed to grammatically set this stuff up.
So,
and I'm actually grateful you did that because I am interjecting this real quick. There were a few times where I did do something grammatically correct and someone was critical and then I got confused and I asked you, wait, is this correct? And you were telling me, yes, what I did was correct. What that person said made no sense.
Yeah. So after a while, I realized I'm going through a number of editors myself, some of which were good and some of which left some room for opportunity to grow. I decided I know this stuff better than most of these people do, so why don't I just do it? So there you go.
Love that. And I'll tell you, there are lives that we have where Silas is like, okay, read me that. Like if people are like, oh, I'm having trouble, Silas will sit there and have you read it to him and then very helpfully give you suggestions.
He will. He's the guy I go to when I'm absolutely stuck with the grammar or something.
Poor Silas has probably had us like throw paragraphs at him and more than once. And like the amount which I think should be talked about, and what to me that's what makes a good book talk community is when you have author friends, especially in the author section, where you have author friends who are willing to like, hey, I'll take 15 minutes, I'll listen to this, I'll look at this, I'll give you a direction. I think that's like the best part of, the group we kind of hang around a lot on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important that everybody use their skills to help everybody else to certain degrees of limits. Like if somebody hands me their 150,000 word manuscript to edit this for free, no.
I mean, speaking of
But
that,
you need
what I
comments on a
hand
paragraph, yeah.
you mean you don't want me to hand you this 200 million word dragon book that I'm gonna finish probably in 3 years?
Well, probably not the first one without at least a few rounds of editing before you hand it over to your editor.
But isn't it fun to look at all the raw data first?
No.
In my recent experience, absolutely not. Okay, next question. What are some things that we as authors can do before we give our works to the editor? Like caring about what the editor thinks in the beginning.
If you don't care what an editor thinks, don't hire an editor.
Fair
You're just going
point.
to be wasting everybody's time.
Mhm.
Just put out crap and hope that everybody doesn't care what you think.
And this is why we love Sylas.
I love that response.
Right? This is why we love him.
Yeah, because sometimes you get those early manuscripts, you try to give the person a little advice, maybe they need to look at it again, and then they throw a tantrum because they're in their feelings about their book versus trying to listen to the advice.
The 5 most dangerous words that authors have mastered when it comes to dealing with their editors is, I like it that way.
Mm-hmm.
If you find yourself saying, I like it that way, you probably are not yet ready for the big leagues. Because in the big leagues, newsflash, we don't give a shit how you like it.
Thank you.
But also, look.
There are certain ways that you do things in order to achieve your goals. We are not here to tell you how to write your book. That's on you. We're here to tell you how to make it so that what you're trying to convey is conveyed clearly.
Very true.
Yeah.
And I just want to put that out there is because I think sometimes, and I've seen how some people react with some editors, and like I think every editor has a different style to how they handle stuff. But I also think that there is, like, if you're a first time writer, or even if you're like you've been writing for a while, but you're finally going to have somebody edit your work, kind of thing, you have to be prepared to listen and like get the feedback. Because I feel like there's some things it's like, okay, you want it this way, fix this, and then you can probably keep that, right? But I think there are other times that it's just like, if there's a serious point, you have to be willing to hear out what your editor is saying and understand that, like, okay, you might not like that you have to change something, but it might be a necessary change so that the readers don't get confused.
Yeah, and can benefit the story. Because I have told you guys this story a couple of times where when it got to my stage as a book reviewer, I was reviewing the book outside of terrible sentence structure, grammatical stuff, and storytelling. I gave somebody a not great review because they didn't do a good job with their story. It needed editing and a sensitivity reader and a lot of other stuff. And this person, I can tell they more than likely didn't deal with a good editor if they dealt with an editor at all, because they immediately were all in their feelings about the fact that I didn't like their story, instead of thinking, okay, let me take a look at what I did wrong, or maybe I should improve it. And that's something you have to take into account if you're going to write a story.
So there are times to argue with your editor. Now, let me be clear. There are a few types of editors. The 2 primary ones that you deal with in the writing community are dev editors, which help you with the overall story and how you tell your story. And there are line and copy editors like what I do, which we perfect your sentences and correct your punctuation. If you're telling your dev editor too often, I like it that way, your problem is no one cares how you like it. The question is it delivering your message? And if somebody's telling you this doesn't deliver your message, then you can consider that. You may object to it. For example, I had a developmental editor who told me I needed to make the father much more mean in book 1. And I said, that's not happening because I want you to like him when he dies in book 3. And they're like, yeah, but that's not going to happen. I'm like, yes, it is. I got that planned out. And I argued with her, and no one has had any problems with how I handled the father who's read the 3 books. So I think I held it true to my vision, even though I argued with the editor. There are other things she said, like, where'd Liv go? Because Liv just disappeared from the scene, that I obviously couldn't turn a blind eye to. I needed to find Liv and go put her back where she belongs.
Yeah. You can't just lose characters out.
That's true.
And a lot of other things that I did listen to. I use like an 80-20 ratio when it comes to dev editors. 80% of what they say you should take, 20% of it is probably not the best fit for you.
Okay.
When it comes to line copy editors, I take a 95.5. I'm not trying to rewrite your book for you. If you're not taking 95% of my stuff, you're introducing a lot of errors.
Yeah.
The other 5% is because I'm human and so maybe I made a mistake.
Yeah.
But if I tell you a comma needs to go there, that's not a matter of your opinion or how you feel. The comma goes there.
Okay, and so I had a different question for this next one, but I'm going to substitute the question I want to ask.
Yeah, because I noticed you've been deleting questions.
Oh, well, that's just to keep track of where we're at. So,
Okay.
So anyways, I was going to ask about, things you have to deal with as an editor, yada, yada, yada. But we've had, for anybody who knows us and is listening, they are already going to groan because they know the P word and they know what's coming up. And they're probably over there sitting in their chairs about to put down whatever device they have so they don't have to listen to this for the 800th time. But I just want to bring up and we're not going to have, I'm going to preface this by saying we're not having a 3-hour discussion. We've done that before. But me and Sylas have had a very interesting conversation about prologues. And so I actually tack some of this up to, because I am very much in the fantasy genre and prologues are bread and butter for us a lot. It is the juicy tidbit we throw to the readers. But and I'm not saying Sylas is wrong. I think I might have said that a few times. I didn't mean it that way. I'm not saying he's wrong about his ideas on prologues. But I will say, why don't you take a few minutes to talk about prologues? Because I think what you have to say is very interesting and should be heard for authors who are who might want to include a prologue. They don't know if they should. Because I think some of your points on the prologues are very important. I may not agree with all of them, but I think you have some very solid points on what prologue should be. So, Sylas, take it away with the P word.
Would you flip a pancake with a hammer?
Yes,
maybe.
Would you add salt to a dish that a person doesn't need any salt?
Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe they need some more endurance with some salt.
Every tool has a use and a purpose. Sometimes we get creative with that, but it serves a purpose. Prologues, epilogues, prefaces, preambles. By the way, there's no such thing as author notes. Let's just get rid of that concept.
We can agree to disagree.
Author notes are prefaces.
But I think they, okay, we're not
if you don't stay focused, you'll never get the answer to your question.
I'm just saying, focus on the prologue.
Don't worry, Sylas. She does this all the time. Sooner or later, we get back to the point.
Okay, so the thing is know your tool and know how to use it well. If you think that a prologue is a required part of a book, you are mistaken. It is an optional part, just like a preface, just like a foreword, just like an epilogue. And that optional part can serve a purpose. An epilogue serves a great purpose of wrapping up the extra little threads that you didn't wrap up in the main story because you wrapped up the main story in the main story. The epilogue is for all the extra threads. What is a prologue for? What is the purpose of a prologue? What can it achieve? What are its pitfalls? Those are questions I'm giving the reader at home homework to do. Investigate prologues for yourself. Don't take my word. Take the word of all those who come before you and figure out, is a prologue the right tool for me?
Okay, I think that was actually the best way I've heard you say that. So we'll agree to disagree on author notes. I will just say, and I'll just put this in here as a little tidbit on my thoughts on prologues so that we get both, because I think what Sylas, and actually we're going to mention this book next, which is why I'm also bringing up this question. I think because I also think prologues though can be genre specific, because I think there are some genres that don't really need or use prologues. Whereas, like I said, because I'm a fantasy girly, so I'm in a lot of the, I have some sci-fi stuff that's on the background, but I'm very much a fantasy girly, have been for years. And so I think in fantasy, prologues have become very important for the genre, because I think it's expected by fantasy readers that you need that prologue. You need something to, if you're trying, and I agree with you, it is a tool though, and should be used correctly. And there have been bad prologues before, but I also think for fantasy genre, prologues are something that a lot of fantasy readers love because it gives them that kind of window into what's been going on, whether it's past, whether it's a future event, whatever it is, some defining event, and it gives them that juicy tidbit. And then they're like, oh, I really like this, has really gotten me excited for this book. I'm going to deep dive this book now.
Yeah, I will say this as a fellow fantasy author. I feel when it comes to prologues, I'm going to agree with Sylas that if it's necessary for this particular story, put it in. If you feel like it's not necessary for your particular fantasy story, don't worry about it, because I have in my tenure as an author only probably written one prologue because I felt it was necessary for the story. I have one I'm working on where I wrote a prologue because I felt it was necessary. Others, I didn't feel like it was necessary for the story. So as a writer, I would say just put the prologue in if you feel that is necessary for the story. If you don't feel like in your case it's necessary, don't worry about it. But if you do feel it's necessary, put it in.
Okay, and so with that, so we don't get into a 10-hour prologue discussion, and I feel like we have before.
Oh, I thought we were wrapping this part up.
We are. We're just
got
going to go
other
to the next
questions.
one. I have one more. So the next question is, what inspired you to write your upcoming book? Write it, a handbook for new writers.
A lot of people come to me asking questions. They look for guidance. They'll step into my life for the first time and be like, I'm a new writer and I'm publishing tomorrow. What do I do? Well,
First, don't publish it tomorrow.
Why are you publishing tomorrow? Hello.
I know. Second you said that, I was like, why are you publishing it tomorrow? Don't you need to give yourself some space to check it?
Right.
Yeah, so they get some steps back, but it had become that I had acquired so much knowledge from being asked questions and looking up answers, and from my own research and my experience as a writer, that I thought it was worth sharing that information. Because in my journey, I have covered everything from writing the first word to the last word to some of the marketing to publishing, and that allows me to really talk about all the different topics that people come in and say, well, what about this? How do I deal with an ISBN number? How do I deal with writer's block? All those questions can be addressed. And so I decided to put together Write It, which honestly feels a little heady for me, because who am I to decide that I have enough knowledge to share it with everybody? But I've also had like 25 different authors contribute various aspects to this.
Yeah.
So that it's a well-rounded piece that covers a lot of knowledge.
And I will say, if you are a new author who's listening to us, or even if you're someone who's thinking about writing, we are going to post, I'm going to post a link to his website below in the description, you guys. Please click it and go see, because for anybody who's thinking about writing, because Sylas knows, I have read over huge portions of this book, love most of it, have left a lot of comments on everything, which I think Sylas is like, oh my God, she's commenting again. But anyways, but I love it, because I think there's a lot of times when new writers come on to Book Talk or BookTube or Bookstagram, wherever you're at, and they get kind of lost in the fray because they see what everybody else is doing. You see this author doing, 20 books in, doing a 3-book series about vampires. And then you see this author who's going to querying with agents, yada. So you see a lot of different authors in a lot of different steps. And I think new authors kind of get lost sometimes of like, okay, but where do I start? Give me step A, B, and C, because I know step 566, section C, but I know nothing about how do I make the words go on the page part. And I think it's important that, because I think there have been other books that authors have written to help authors out, but I really like that you've kind of addressed, to me, which is a big section that's missing, which is the social media part. And
nobody talks about that.
Yeah, it's not.
Nobody talks about the marketing. And I wish when I first got in the game, somebody had talked to me about marketing.
Yep, especially for indie authors, because I think a lot of authors who have written books on to help writers have been coming from the traditional mainstream aspect. And now we have, I would say, hundreds of thousands of indie authors on many different platforms who write books. And I think it's important that they have a comprehensive book that says, okay, if you want to do querying, this is querying. If you want to do this type of book, do this. If you want to look for an editor, this is how you kind of start.
Yeah. And I really like that, because one of the reasons why I was glad that we included this question is because I got a few people in my family writing books. And as you know, I have a family member who does early editing for me. And that person's being driven nuts by relatives who send her their books. And oh boy, a lot of stuff, basic stuff that we know about hasn't been addressed. And I love that you wrote this book, Write It, because I'm plotting to send that book to a bunch of people.
Crystal's gonna do like a massive order of 10 books and be like, next Christmas, everybody's gonna get.
It's not that high, but I do have to get a couple.
So anyways, I think it's great. I love it. I think it's awesome that you did that. And now, Crystal, you're up.
Okay. What do you feel was the hardest book for you to write, Silas?
Well, that's easy. Book 8. Book 8 in the series, I had to take breaks between chapters. The premise of the series there is that a magical shard is trying to rip your soul from your body, and so it's making you dream of things that are horrible. And the nightmares only get worse as the book goes on, until you get to a scene where a man loses his wife and 2 daughters.
And that's the Trusian. Okay, how do you say this?
Yeah.
The Trusian?
Iusian.
Trusian. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, because I have to say, one of the things I love about your series is that your names are awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read all the titles, you guys, so you see what I'm talking about. So you have the Aminthian, which is the rise of Turbinius Cantus. You have the Tarian. You have the this is kind of dirty. I feel like this is dirty. The Tituarian, but it has tit to be. It's dirty. So, anyways, you have the Messiad. You have the Massian. Okay, the Signian, the Bodian, which honestly, that came when I first saw that. I thought I literally was like the bodacious what. Which is not, but the Bodigan or Bodigan.
You want me to tell you?
Yes, please.
It's the Badagian.
Badagian, okay. And then we have the I know I'm not going to say this. The
Bruminian.
The Bruminian, okay. And then we have the 8th book. And then what is book 9? Because I don't see
the Grappian.
The Grappian, okay. And then what is book 10?
The Dian.
The Dian. You and the IAN. I think you're going to be like the first sci-fi author.
No, the reason that they have the IAN is because in my made-up language for the book,
yeah,
IAN meant thing of.
Okay.
So Aminthian is emeth, comes from the root words that mean elements. So it's the thing of elements.
Awesome.
Okay, Mr. Fancy with your root words.
I know.
Yeah.
And I totally interrupted Crystal's question. So Crystal, you go.
Out of all of your books, which one was the most fun for you to write?
Most fun. Live.
And that is one of the novellas, right?
Yeah, that's a side novella.
And we're gonna post
Live was
a picture
fun
here.
because I got to include ancient encryption techniques in it.
Ooh.
I got to get super nerdy on it.
Yay! And I want to say I love this cover. So we're gonna show this cover off too in this.
Yeah, future
interview.
me post cover here.
Yes, because Liv is in one of. I mean, the rest of the covers. To be fair, I like the rest of your covers too because I think you've done a really interesting thing of making each of them unique with the medallions. But I love Liv's cover. That's probably one of my favorite of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
here is the question that Nisi is single-handedly responsible for.
Yes, Nisi is responsible for this.
And so we're gonna we now have to ask this of everybody because of it's all Nisi's fault. We love Nisi, but it's all Nisi's fault. So if you were stranded on an island, what 3 characters would you take with you? And one of them can be a book, but you must choose and you cannot bring a baby.
Wait, what 3 characters?
What 3 items would you take with you if you were stranded on an island?
And no babies.
A Leatherman. And honestly, what else do you need other than a Leatherman?
Okay, what is a Leatherman? I was just gonna ask, what is that?
It's a high quality multi-tool. It does everything.
See, now I'm gonna have to look up Leatherman because I'm thinking it's like a Swiss Army.
Yeah, but
I'm
it's
thinking
like
about what you're talking
better.
about. It would have a screwdriver and all that other stuff all in one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So it has lots of shiny things. Well, I mean, what do you want to bring? Like, I don't know, some rations, a blanket. I don't know, something to be comfortable with.
I can make a blanket with a Leatherman. I can fetch rations with a Leatherman. What do you need other than a Leatherman?
But what about a book? You need something to be entertaining, okay?
I can make paper and pencils from a Leatherman, and I can write my book.
Silas is like, I am bringing one item. That's it. That's all. You're not.
It's like an all-in-one. It's all-in-one. Why bring any other crap when you have this all-in-one right here? We'll do all the shit you need to do.
Okay. I love it. I love the answer. I'm going to save that now. And so we do have an end question, but as you know, because we've been hinting, talking, I don't know, teasing you with it, for every person we interview, we give them a homework assignment.
We do.
They do think they can get out of it, and it never happens because let me tell you, dear listeners, I am on top of this. I know where they all live. I have found all of their social medias. I stalk them when I need to. I will find a way to get the homework out. And I heard that Silas was trying to see if he could run away from it earlier, so I'm prepared.
No, you didn't.
Well,
I'm
He
gonna
said
mess
he
with
already
you.
Right
I'm
finished
gonna
away.
mess
it
with you
before
so
you
bad
asked
on
because
this,
he doesn't
Mia.
know what it is.
Okay.
The more you mess with me with the question, the more I'm gonna mess with you with the answer.
Yeah, because you are kind of a brat. That is unsaid, but now
Either way,
everybody
I'm
knows.
cool with that. I like a challenge.
Okay, so your homework, Silas, is like 3 things in one. So you can choose not to do one of the things, but you have to do everything else, okay? So I'm gonna give you a choice where I gave nobody else a choice. Because I'm just a nice,
Oh, aren't
sweet
you
person.
being nice?
I'm being super nice, right?
You
I'm
never
being
give
so
anybody
great.
extra options.
So, because his homework is like a 3 or 4 in 1. So, for your homework, Silas, you have to write a short story with a trigger warning list and or a prologue, but it also must have either a Hallmark theme or be flowery. Like, what is the I was thinking of like the true
And what are
like
you going to do with this homework assignment? What is the
you're just
benefit
going to
to
make a
me?
video. So all you have to do when you do the homework, you just have to make a video talking a little bit about that's all you have to do. It's very simple.
Yeah, we'll
Or I
download
can
it
do the video.
eventually and make a collage.
Yeah,
Okay, send me those in writing, otherwise I'll forget.
I will. Don't worry, I will. I was going to
Mhm.
make you do flowery sci-fi Hallmark prologue and trigger warning list, but I was like, that is a lot for one story.
You did tell me originally that was what you were going to do, but I figured that didn't make a lot of sense.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So that's why I was like, you can kind of, as long as you do at least 2, I'm a happy camper. By the way, I am personally rooting for the prologue. I don't know why. Something about you doing the
Because you guys
prologue.
have way too many conversations about freaking prologue.
I'll
I
just talk
mean,
about it.
my goodness, these two people, it's always back and forth with the prologues. They fight more about prologues than Mia harasses me about chocolate.
I mean, is that possible though? I have harassed you about
No,
chocolate
it's
a
not
lot.
even an argument. Mia just likes to say I'm wrong, even though she doesn't like have any problem
I
with my
don't say
viewpoint.
you're wrong. Other than the only time I said you were wrong is because Nisi swears you okayed a prologue for her. So that's the only time I think I've said you're wrong because Nisi swears that you okayed a prologue.
Well, he
And
told
you
us
said
he
you
Her
okayed a
didn't.
memory is
prologue for
mistaken.
some.
Sorry, you said something that both me and Crystal were talking. So go ahead.
Her memory is mistaken.
Oh, okay, DC, you heard it here.
Yeah, and I remember Silas suggesting one for Sloan. I forget for which story.
Oh, see, twice, Silas, twice you've been caught. Okay,
That's because you
anyways,
don't know my viewpoint, Mia,
I do.
or
I've
you
heard
ignore
it.
it. One of the two.
Oh man. Okay, we're not going to start this. So,
Okay, no prologue wars, people.
none. So our end question is the easiest one. Take a few minutes, pitch your books, talk about whatever you want, go off about whatever you want to tell all the listeners, readers, whoever is listening. Tell them everything.
I don't need a few minutes for that. Just go to Sylas, SYLAS.art, and you can see all about my books with links to Amazon. Some of them are available for purchase as audiobooks too, for those who need that venue.
And
My
he has
next book
awesome
comes
narrators.
out on February 15th, 2 weeks from today.
Woohoo.
And that's 2026. That should be watching this on YouTube.
Yep.
The next book after that comes out May 15th, and then June 5th, and then August 15th, and then obviously the entire series will be released.
Woohoo! Go,
Woo.
Silas.
The only other thing I'd like to say is remember this: amongst all of the advice that you will get, all the opinions that people will share with you, all the experience that you will gain, there's only one thing that you need to know. If you have a story that's worth telling, you should tell it.
Agreed.
I agree.
Definitely.
Fantastic conclusion.
Right. And I will say, I appreciate that you came on here, Silas, and endured our evil, terrifying question. No.
Well, you
But-
survived me. That works too.
Oh, please.
Oh, please. We hang out with you all the time. What are you
Right.
talking about surviving?
Oh, speaking of surviving, I do have a show called Surviving Psy.
Oh,
The
Oh,
first
yeah, you
episode
could
comes
probably
out
pitch
next
that.
week, February 7th at 4 p.m. Pacific. It will be 2 hours of live editing with me. We're going to have Lainey up as the first person.
Ooh, first victim.
Ooh.
Okay.
Yeah, she's going to be the first victim. I've got a red buzzer and everything.
Oh, see, Silas is going fun old school.
Oh,
with
you're
this.
going hardcore.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so you have the show. You also have a publishing company, correct? Or are you guys accepting new
Well,
offers?
since I lost my job and other things have happened,
Yeah.
it's kind of on pause.
Okay.
Okay.
But maybe you'll get super successful with the author book and all your huge series being, because I know you're gonna do a full book, like a 10-book release, right? You should do like a whole day where you do like 10 books, so 5 and 5, and then have a third with all the novellas and sell those as package deals.
Yeah, I do have an omnibus.
Yeah. You should do a
That you
couple
can
of
get
those for like
that has
at the
5 and
end.
5 books.
Yeah. You should do like how many are in the first omnibus?
5.
Okay. So yeah, so do 2 omnibuses and then 1 for the novellas, and you can have a release party for all of it.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah.
I do not look forward to marketing.
Yay! All right. Well, anything else you want to say, Sylas, before we run away and let you have a free night to terrorize you?
Thank you all for your time tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll see you in the lives.
Woohoo! Okay, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us and listening.
Thank you for joining our fun craziness
and listening to lovely Sylas Seabrook, who has lots of books out and is writing way more. And we hope you we hope you subscribe, leave all the comments. We love all the comments, and we will be putting links down below on where to find him, find his books, etc., and so on. And then also, if you want to go watch us on TikTok, we have a TikTok channel too. So thank you guys for coming and listening to us. We love you.
We love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.